Racing family, welcome to the Marshall Pruitt podcast. We have our guest, get to call you IndyCar driver, Mick Schumacher. So genuinely excited to have you here in the IndyCar series, and a big thank you, as always, to our show partners, the Justice Brothers and TorontoMotorsports.com. Mick, why don't we start with the feeling of being wanted by Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing, but knowing how your spell in Formula One went, how much RLL wanted you and pursued you and tried to make you and your family feel like family. How important was that?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's been great to have that feeling. Um, but more than that, I think it was just the commitment people showed to racing. I mean, they all the guys and girls at RLL showed me how much they love racing in itself, and that's what I love the most too. So, I think that's really what convinced me, and frankly made me, see myself as an IndyCar driver. So I'm awfully grateful and awfully happy that everything went the way it did, and we kind of really found this great collaboration that we have. And I'm just very, very excited about what's to come next year. I think we have so many good things lined up and good things coming our way, and yeah, I'm stoked about it.
Stoked. That's a very Californian word as you're speaking to me here on the West Coast. Tell me about the IndyCar part. I know this is all still relatively new for you, but does it feel normal yet to say Mick Schumacher, IndyCar driver?
Yeah, it doesn't feel weird in any way. It doesn't feel off either. I think I think I've raced enough series by now to have the feeling pretty quickly of where I'm racing. Isn't like it doesn't isn't too new, and I've done the switches around recently. So no, I'm honestly just super keen on getting everything going and starting the testing that we've got planned, and start working really closely with Jay and everybody involved in the team.
So the car you're stepping into, launched by RLL in 2022, had been a two-car full-time operation up till that point. There were high hopes that the third car would really become additive and be a big contributor to the team's success. It really worked out that way so far, which is what led to the major internal decision, Mick, of like, hey, we need to do a reboot. We want this third car to be just as strong as the first. They don't want to call it the third car. They want it to just be three equally amazing cars. And so they're retooling that. They're building a fresh program around you instead of saying, well, we're just going to drop you in to the cars that finished last season and see what you can make of it. Did that factor in your desire to come here knowing that from Bobby Rahal, David Letterman, Mike Lanigan, Jay Fry, they said, hey, no, we do truly want to build something new around you in this number 47 Honda.
All these things obviously had a big contributor to making that decision, but also, more than that, and more than the results they've had in the past, it's also just the attitude they've shown. The attitude to racing, the attitude to wanting more, and I'm sure every team out there has a similar approach. But I felt really welcome, and felt really good about my decision quickly. And again, seeing what they put into place in the short amount of time that have had these discussions was impressive, and I'm sure there's more to come. I'm sure we're not done, and obviously we haven't even started the season yet. So it's all about building and putting everything together and just putting it into place so that we're the most prepared we can be at the first race weekend, especially also for the first oval race that is going to come my way on the second weekend. So I've taken that decision to race in IndyCar even without having done a test in an oval racetrack. I know a lot of drivers have said that it's very specific, very different to whatever I've done in Europe. But on the other hand, I've always been very adaptable. I've been very easily drawn to new things, and kind of love to explore these different forms of racing, and oval racing will not be different. So I'm just very excited about getting to know that, even though it might be a very different sport compared to what I've been doing so far. I'm just keen to getting to know it, and I have great people around me, a great team behind me now, who will help me figure it out, and yeah, put me in a good spot to conquer those.
Spent most of my life working in open wheel racing, mechanic, and other things. And you see open wheel drivers, and they're very clearly a type, just like you would see a drag racer. They're all about that, or a stock car driver. An open wheeler, it's a specific thing. Can you speak to that? Not as if you haven't done well in other forms of racing, but there's a certain heart to an open wheeler that, to me, if they're not in an open wheel car, they're always longing to get back. What's that been like for you, not having a top tier open wheel car to call your own for the last couple of years?
It's always been the interest, and I did keep, let's say, my lap count up on that in my open wheel cars that I've raced and tested and driven. I mean, I've done multiple thousand kilometers in an F1 car last year in very different cars. I've still done it this year, just to keep me race fit essentially. And IndyCar, gave me the opportunity now to race it full time, and that's all I wanted. I just wanted to be in my own car, race in my car where I can see my wheels and have those good battles that everybody's seen on TV and in IndyCar. So yeah, just excited to be part of that and see what also these guys that have been racing back in the day in my junior days, how they've evolved, how they've changed as a driver, and I obviously have a good idea of how they've been back then, but I'm sure they're very different now.
Don't know if you're aware of this. It just occurred to me last night. Sometimes I get folks to say, well, Gene Haas is an American. He should start an IndyCar team. And it occurred to me, I think, Mick, you're the sixth Haas Formula One driver who either competed in F1 or has done testing or similar. Esteban Gutierrez, Santino Ferrucci, Kevin Magnussen did one race. Romain Grosjean obviously came over. Pietro Fittipaldi, now you. I don't know if it's some sort of Haas F1 to IndyCar pipeline, but I guess you could at least say, boy, you already know a lot of folks who kind of come from the same team or similar background as you.
I didn't know that was the case. I obviously knew that Roman was over here and he was pretty successful in a way. I've always loved working with Americans or at an American racetrack. They have such a way of making you feel a certain type of way when you're racing in front of the American crowd. And I've now been able to have a weekend where I worked with a good bunch of them, and it's been very fun. I have to say, I think they're very much in love in like motorsport. Well, they're very much in love into motorsport just the way that I am, and it's just great. So yeah, excited to be here and can't wait to work more with them and kind of build up something which will hopefully lead us into the right direction.
Last couple quick things for you. So, in the announcement says you're signed for 2026. Would hope we'd get to keep you longer, but I know this year's it's an exploration, right? Lots of new tracks, new style of racing, with ovals and whatnot. But what's your mindset? How do you think of this coming year in 2026? Is it a 1 year and then evaluate after, or are you hoping, if all goes well, this could be your new home for a long time?
I wouldn't say no to it. I mean, obviously, I haven't done the first race, so I haven't done any sort of racing. I've just done one test so far, but obviously, I wouldn't be here if I didn't think that this could be something that I want to do long term. And so I will start the season, see how it feels, and I'm sure that if I feel the same way I do right now, this definitely can be a home for a while. As a driver, I think you always want to compete in the best championship possible. In my case now, obviously F1 was not possible, and I felt like IndyCar was the best thing where I could show my potential and do well potentially. So yeah, I'm just happy to be in this place now. Again, feel like a a single seater driver again, and kind of show my skills out there.
Know that I've read family having home in Texas. How much time did you get to spend here growing up? I know for us, it feels like, hey, Mick's coming to America to compete with us in IndyCar. I wonder for you, does it feel that same way, or does it feel like you're coming to a place that you're not too unfamiliar with?
Yeah, definitely not too unfamiliar with it. Did spend quite a bit of time here and there, obviously with races in F1, and every time I had the chance, I would come out and be a couple of weeks here, or like over in Texas. So really, really happy the fact that there is the race in Arlington. A lot of friends that I have over there are already planning to come by, and really, really just looking forward to spending more time in Texas. I think the people there are great. The country is, the land that we have is super fun. You have so many little tools that you can use to really have fun, which for us, for example, we have a racetrack out there where we race side by sides, and just being able to do stuff like that is great to me.
Tell me about these teammates that you're going to be working with. Know you're going to get to know Graham Rahal. Obviously, Louis Foster has spent some time with you, great young talent here. I don't know if Graham's already tried to sell you Porsche Carrera GTs or otherwise. He's got this huge supercar business of his. Hopefully, he won't try and take too much money off of you. But you do come into a pretty strong driver base already. What's that process going to be like for you? Do you want to come here and just spend a lot of time soaking things in with them away from the track at the shop? What are you looking forward to there?
Yeah, I think that's still something to be really seen. How we're gonna do it. I'm sure, whenever I get the chance, I want to spend the time with the team, and that also goes towards spending time with my teammates. I've been in contact with Graham pretty much since the test. We've had a couple exchanges on text and a couple calls, which have been all great. And I think he's a pretty experienced driver when it comes down to IndyCar, and I think that I can definitely learn a lot from him. And Louis obviously has the fresh new experiences he made last year, so we have a good mix of the two, and be able to help me, get into the rhythm quickly. I have no doubt that I will be in the rhythm quick anyways, but that might just make it a bit faster, and help us all to drive the team to where they want to be, essentially, and that's right at the top. So if we're all able to put ourselves into a position where we can work together to pull at the right string, and all drive the team into the right direction, I'm sure we can do that.
Be careful with Louis. He's got that bizarre mustache that he wears. He might try and do some sort of bet with you, and if you lose, you have to grow one.
Oh,
So just saying, be
I don't
careful of
worry.
that kid.
I can't grow a mustache, so
No.
he'll never win. He'll never win that bet.
You're safe. I love that. Let's close on this, Mick. At the test, it was so cool not just to see our mutual friend Dirk Mueller. Love the fact that we're going to get to see more of Dirk here next year, but mom was there, friends, family. You're coming to a team that is all about family. Obviously, Bobby Rahal, Indy 500 winner, three-time IndyCar champion, his son driving. Also, Mike Lanigan, right? His family, lots of great success there. It's a lot of generations. I know this isn't just Mick Schumacher, race car driver, going to come be an IndyCar. There is a family aspect to this. The Schumachers, the Rahals, a lot of folks, Jay Fry, very family oriented. Family matters to you. Are they going to be able to come along on this journey with you at certain points next season?
Yeah, no, of course. Family is, I think, the most important thing in life, and therefore it was a really important step for me to bring my mom and kind of show her how safe the cars are, and how good the championship is now, and obviously Jay has been a big part of that. He's obviously done so much for the sport, but also in that sense in explaining to my mom what's been going on, and also to me, frankly. I also obviously was in a position where I wanted to understand more about it, what it meant and what it was. And he's done a great job at that. And so yeah, no, definitely felt like it was a very family orientated, company and team. Obviously, still yet to meet Bobby in real life. Unfortunately, he wasn't there at the test. He was busy, but we've had so many good calls where we've got to catch up and talk, and no, very excited to learn from him too.
Looking forward to getting you here in the IndyCar series, getting you to see you at some oval tests and journey ahead. So thanks for taking some time here in the podcast and can't wait to see what the future holds for you.
Thank you, Marshall. Yeah, it's been fun.